Hello, we are at the students of the third grade group 2 and now presentation 10 units by the Empower B2 book. Now, the first unit is Outstanding People.
The grammar unit 1 is themed review of tenses, use time present perfect, present perfect simple, and present continuous. We use the present simple for habits, repeat action, facts and things which are generally true. The present perfect simple with the present for experience in our life, and the present continuous used for action in progress now.
Vocabulary and characteristics and what are they? Are tools we use to describe or describe characters of the person, animals, or the things mentioned in the sentences. Some of them are respected, inspiring, determined, store-born, sleep, revive, help, be, baldy, desire, prefer, university, woman, men, serious, and treat.
Question. Positive and negative question. Most questions have an auxiliary verb. Um, the auxiliary verb can be positive or negative. Who do you who do you spell that? With is my computer working? Prepositions usually come at the end of question. Where are from? Not in very formal question that can good and the beginning.
A grammar question. We use a negative question to express surprise. Haven't they finished with? I'm surprised. When we ask us about the subject of a sentence, the word or the don't change and we don't use an auxiliary verb. Somebody wrote this book. Who wrote this book? Not who died write this book.
The vocabulary training and success. And with RT, it is used to describe when something is successful or at them. Some of them are get up, got at, keep it up, keep to, make up, effort, manage to, successful, three out, work out.
All right, now word power is a make. Use make it is to the ref to something that we are making, manufacturing, or creating. Some explains of the it use are is I can make up my mind. I really make a difference to the room. I can make out what it is, and we'll have to make the base it if. Next unit is survival.
The grammar in the unit number 1 is narrative tense. We use narrative tense to tell a story about what happened in the past. The most important are past simple, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. We use the past simple for complete past action and states which happened and specific time in the past. We use the past continuous for action that were in the progress at time of the main event in the story. We spotted time they were standing next to some stones. They were waving their arms but couldn't hear what they were showing.
Narrative tenses. We use the past perfect simple continuous for events and activities that happen before the main events in the story and to give explanations of rent. It often occurs, of course, often because we respond because they had with the word hill of stones. we finally spawn them after we had been searching for over week.
Past perfect simple or continuous. We use the past perfect sim to focus on the result of an early completed action. We spotted time result caused the build and big thing early action to talk about time up the 10 by the state verb. When we found them they been on the mountain for a week. We used the past perfect continuous for a result in the past to show the effect of an early activity. They were tired result because there being building a big stick to specific the direct of team-wide action. But we found the after with big session for a week.
In vocabulary expression we create, and they are expressions that allow to communicate sometimes that we have achievement. I to get its widely used verb having very varied use and meaning. And my meaning of the verb to get is get wind. Did you get my email? Did you receive my email? We where did you get for information? And some of them are get away, get to calling, and get over, got into, heal, hold, or just swing, just the feeling. Grammar and future time clauses and conditional. In future time clauses and conditional, we use future time clause to talk about future possibilities and future plans or to give advice. We normally use a present tense in the subordinate and clause with more like of we.
Right, vocabulary, animals, and the environment. Um, These are simple words that can be included in sentences about animals or the environment or related words about things and aspects. Some of the terms are tigers, motorists, attacked, hot, forest, hosted, shot, killed, boots, and attack risk. And the
Right.
word And the word power is a face used to express attitudes of the people. Something explains of the its use are made a face, face a difficult choice, face well, confesses, say it to his faces, face the fact, flat on my face, and face the music. Next is unit 3, talent.
In Unity 3, the grammar is talent. Use multi-word verbs and present perfect simple and continuous. Consists of verb or the particles. We come up with some good ideas and decide to treat time out. The present perfect simple and continuous talk about experience. We change the happen for experience during and present periods of time. For recent complete action which settled in the present, and I already on the shopping. If you put food in the home, but I have light the table yet.
The vocabulary, ability, and achievement, and what signing, talent, skilled, exceptional, and successful, brilliant, and potential.
Right. Next unit is unit 4, life lessons.
The grammar used to and what and obligation and permission. We often use to describe past situation. In general, the situation continue for a long time and are not true. An obligation and permission must are very strong. In most situations, is more natural to use have to need, need to need, can't be not, allow to. And the question with most are very rare. Should is much more common than ought to. Question and negatives will ought to are very rare. Need to is like have to words net usually found in the negative is a model.
The vocabulary talking about difficulty adjectives in punished, strict, tough, arduous, really rigorous, and tricky.
The next unit is Unit 5, change.
The Unit 5 grammar is future probability. When you ask for options or about future probability, you usually use will más past form or be going to más past form. Where there are no other alternatives that are also common in spoke English. We'll have to almost combine the idea that an action is going to be necessary in the near future. The negative forms are will not and do not have to.
Vocabulary. Adjectives describing attitude. Adjectives in English are grammatical elements and that serve to give characteristics to people, animals, or things. Its function is to offer extra information about the note of sentences and disorganized, irresponsible, critical, relief, toned, unsympathetic, and competitive. The vocabulary is the natural world and raw environment, solar, freight, ecological, and global carbon climates in Earth.
All right, next unit is Unit 6, around the global.
In grammar is heroes and infinitives. Heroes and infinitives are sometimes referred to as verb complements. They might function as subject or object in sentence. A heron is a verb in its ing, present participle, from that function as a noun that names an activity rate that a person or rate. Any action verb can be made into a heron.
Grammar de passive. We make the passive be putting the verb to be into whatever tense we need and the ending the past participle. For regular verb, we make the past participle be and it to the infinitive. The passive in subordinate clause. You can
Vocabulary.
make
And travel and tourism. In English, there are different words to refer to trips because a day trip is not the same a weekend or a longer trip. In theater, sitting, construction, obscured. And what is the difference between trip, and trip? And terminal studs beneath love hinking. If we want to ask someone how the trip has been, and we must remember that trip is a noun and travel is a verb, therefore we can never say, how was your trip? And we have to use the word trip, how was your trip? Vocabulary, the screen change. All water, things, and bilingual request is the things that I expect, or if there are no special facts to consider away. A direct used was for showing that there are changes in people opinions and what to do things. Below, decline, decline, deteriorated, the disappear, increase, perceive, and repeat.
All right, the next unit is Unit 7, city living.
In grammar is used to know and so such. We use to and to know to explain problems. We sometimes is more the right amount or less the right amount. We use adjective más no and no más no. Such, we use su and such to draw attention to extreme quality of something. We can use su before an adjective and such before adjective must know.
Grammar 7b. Causative have get. We use the structure have get más object más past participle to talk about things that we arrange or pay of for but don't actually do ourselves. Have is still slightly more formal than get.
Vocabulary 7a, IT server used to describe life in different cities. Some examples are quality, local traffic, parking, urban air, public development, pollution, transport of life, congestion, space, and residence. Vocabulary film and TV house. Example, film and TV, producer, director, film crew, viewer, actors, and production. Example, house, cottage, page, acting, cellular, basement, fins, terrace, detached, semi-detached, terraced, and bungalow.
All right, next unit is 8 and dilemmas.
Use the should have más past participle. We can use the structure should have más past participle to criticize other people past action. And use the third conditional. We use the conditional to talk about imagined past events or stats and their consequence.
Vocabulary continue.
Vocabulary, money, and finance. Examples: debit, interest rate, savings, budget, payoff, investment, income, donation. Vocabulary, crime. Example: burglary, theft, robbery, cheating, bribery, murder.
All right, the next unit is unit 9, discoveries.
Is use relative clause who, which, whose, or that. Relative clauses are those that are performed to subordinate function with respect to a main sentence, adding more information about a thing or a person that has already been mentioned before. For example, the cushions that are on the couch are purple and green.
Dulce. 9.
All right. There are two main types of the relationship clause. Definitive relationship clause, that type of the sentences give information necessary to understand what we are referring to and do not have commas. Example, the questions that are on the code are purple and green, not defining relate clause. This type of the sentences provide additional information about the person or thing to which we refer, but it is not essential to identify it. Example, his boyfriend, who is from Madrid, is studying maths.
Vocabulary. And the vocabulary is an infection, a description, AGP, a surgery, a jaguar, a migrated, an allergy, a day, a and E department, a specialist asthma and operator singing, a surgeon.
Grammar, reporter speech reporting verbs. When we report what people say of the talk in the past, we usually change the sentences pronoun, possessives, and reference to time and place. For example, Anna, I want to go out tomorrow. Anna told me she would not go out the following day. Present tense and past tense. Past tense and past perfect tense. Will, can, and may. Will, call, and might. Past perfect will and call and may don't normally change.
When the reporting verb is in a present tense, we don't change the tense. I never seen them in concert, and she was she's never stayed in concert. When we report question, the words ordered is the same and is sentences. Use theater or of the report, yes, not question. Whether in more formal that is, where do you live? They asked we my where it lived, not the jacket, my where did I live? In vocabulary is inform, tell, ask, insist, agree, complete, order, know. An example, you have stolen my money, he said. He accused me of stealing had money.
All right, next unit, it's unit 10, possibilities.
Use past modals of deduction. We can use modal verb for deduction wishes if sometimes is through using the available information. The modal verb we choose shows how certain we are about the possibility. Use must have. We use must have as past participle when we feel sure about what happened.
My have is we can use might have or money have as participle, and we want think it's possibility that something happened. I can have, could have, we can have and could have as participle, and we would think it's not possible that something happened. Karen,
Vocabulary. Verb of after. Got under white, copied with, overcome, work on, good on white, target, gave up.
Grammar, wishes and regrets. We of use the verb wish to express strong desires. We always wish for something to be different than it is or was, or wish for something new of different to have in the future of wishes for the present are for things that are unlikely or impossible, or which for the past are always impossible because the past cannot be changed.
Vocabulary adjectives with prefix. You can believe it. No puedo creerlo. It's no like it. No es probable. It's not possible. No es posible. I didn't sell many copies. Se vendieron muchas copias. And it's not far on the money points. No es parte del punto.
All right, this was all from us. Thank you for watching.